So I wish I could give a response that I did a great deal of research on the judiciary as the employer of choice. Instead, I have my mom to thank. During college, law school, my mother would constantly send me job vacancy notices. She even had me sit for the probation officer test when I was in law school. When I was working at a law firm, she continued to send me job vacancies when I saw the EEO officer job vacancy notice, and I decided that that was an excellent way for me to leverage my law degree, my work in employment law, and at the same time provide guidance and advice to management. So I applied for the EEO officer position in one of the vicinages and got it, and have been with the judiciary and the state for almost 15 years now.
I started in the judiciary over 15 years ago as a volunteer. That was my first official appointment in the judiciary, and I was a volunteer in Middlesex County for Juvenile Conference Committee. I worked as a law intern during law school, and it was for now retired Judge Renee Weeks, and that was in the General Equity Division in Essex Vicinage. That was a great experience. It was my first chance to actually see what happens behind the courtroom and all the work that actually goes into a judge making a decision. So I got to work with all the court staff in addition to the judge. And that was really a great experience and really influenced me in seeking other opportunities in the judiciary. My first paying job was as a law clerk, and I clerked for the assignment judge in Essex, Judge Patricia Costello. And after being a law clerk, I went out into private practice, and I then came back as a supervisor in the civil division, and now as the assistant trial court administrator in Essex.
I found the judiciary to have excellent advancement opportunities. Sometimes I wonder if I can hold down a job. I went from the EEO officer in a vicinage doing local guidance to the managers there in the vicinage to the affirmative action officer with statewide policy oversight of the affirmative action policies for the judiciary. From there, I ended up going to the Attorney General's office for a little while, and then returned to the judiciary as the counsel to the Advisory Committee on Extrajudicial Activities, where I provided advice and guidance to our judges. From there, I was asked to be the special assistant to the administrative director, working on policy issues, assisting the different divisions in developing policy, finalizing it, and vetting it through our committee and approval process. So the opportunities actually are endless here at the judiciary, whether they be in the vicinage or in the central office.
So I read somewhere that success is where opportunity meets preparation. And I've found throughout my career in the judiciary that this organization is a large one, and there are definitely opportunities for advancement, both locally and in the central office. Personally speaking, I've been very fortunate in that I've been able to advance from being a volunteer to then being a law intern, and then a law clerk, and then a supervisor, and now an assistant trial court administrator. And I would be remiss in not mentioning that I wouldn't have been able to achieve that without having the confidence of the people for whom I've worked.
It's provided me an opportunity to collaborate with a cross-section of staff from the vicinages as well as from central office, from community relations to EEO to TCAs to clerical and administrative staff on their perspectives of how best to reach the Asian and Hispanic community to look at the judiciary as an employer of choice. For me, as an Asian Indian, in coming to the judiciary, my mother was the one who, recommended the judiciary as an employer, and now I've turned around and recommended the judiciary as an employer of choice to both those who I've come in contact with as an EEO officer, as the prior affirmative action officer, as the trial court administrator. It has been a great opportunity to look at creative ideas, initiatives, to brainstorm together, to look at what the judiciary is already doing, and to see how we can leverage technology or leverage our personnel, our outreach efforts, to ensure that we're getting the message, to the public.
One of my goals in working for the judiciary is being able to serve the public, and we certainly have the opportunity to do that, and to do that in a way that supports the mission of the courts, which is ultimately to resolve disputes and to do that in a fair and just manner. Being able to serve on a statewide committee such as the Asian Hispanic Working Group gave me the opportunity to meet other employees statewide, and all talented individuals and all people who want to achieve the goal of having a workforce that's reflective of the community that we serve. So that's something that the Asian Hispanic Working Group has work to do. We've been able to partner with organizations such as NJIT and sponsor projects that are related to their capstone program, and we've been able to work with a diverse group of students and expose them to the opportunities for employment within the judiciary. So everything that we do has helped to expose young people and their parents and the public in general to what we do as an organization.
So I think one of the biggest challenges facing the judiciary in our community outreach to the Asian Hispanic communities is letting them know that we have so many diverse jobs and positions. I myself have had 4 or 5 different positions here in the judiciary. And I think a lot of times the public may feel that if you're not a judge or if you're not a lawyer, there really aren't a lot of opportunities for you. And that is so not true. There are information technology positions, human resources positions, probation officer positions, interpreters, a whole variety of different positions that, may not be analogous to private sector positions, but where skills, traits, experiences could be used to apply for and be successful in positions that we have here at the judiciary. I think one of the challenges that we do face is with both our internal and our external diversity, socioeconomic diversity.
And we're competing with other private organizations that have wildly different compensation packages and benefits. So in order to attract that pool of individuals and to get a diverse workforce, that's a challenge that we face. But it's not a challenge that we're not used to. We've always had those limitations with regard to hiring in general. So I think that one of the important things to do is to concentrate on our strengths as an organization. I think about what attracted me to become an employee here, and that was the opportunity to serve the public. It was the opportunity to make a difference. So beginning from when I was a volunteer and working with those juveniles that were accused of stealing from the local grocery store, to now working as the assistant trial court administrator and working with individuals who are trying to gain access to the courts because they have a mental or physical disability. Those are the things that drive me, and we need to attract the talent by emphasizing what we do for the public. And in the end, I think that's what's going to get us there.
I think that that message and the branding of the judiciary as an employer of choice, we want our judiciary, our staff to reflect the public that we serve. I think for people to come into the court system and to see somebody who looks like them or has a similar name to them really helps in providing that service and providing an environment for which people feel comfortable coming and asking questions and getting information. So I think the better the job that we do of recruiting staff that is reflective of the community that we serve, that challenge becomes more of an opportunity.